Good morning, mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers, sisters, mothers, misters, and all my cousins. It's time to plug in and get this train chugging. So, cities face an 8th night of protest, as you know, as all of this was sparked by the tragic killing of George Floyd by the police officers in Minneapolis. There's tear gas, there's helicopters, there's all sorts of horribleness going on, and America is burning. He wants to be seen as the law and order president, so he's trying his best to deploy the military around the country to suppress the protests. Several governors have turned down his offers, and not requests for National Guard. Trump, is requesting to send them in, and so technically he's an offering, not requesting. Again, just a weird headline. Come on, writers. Either way, the point being the phrasal verb here. The governors have turned down his offer. When people make an offer, for example, would you like some of my coffee? Chances are you'd say no. And so that is to turn down somebody's offer, to decline an offer. A lot of people I hear, a lot of students often say to reject an offer, and to reject an offer is far more forceful. It's like, no way, man. And so better formally to decline an offer, and most commonly to turn down an offer. The opposite then being to accept an offer, or then to take someone up on their offer. I understand that's a mouthful, but yeah, I'd take you up on that. Speaking of cowardice, or to be a coward is technically a lack of bravery. Per Wikipedia, cowardice is a trait wherein excessive fear and excessive self-concern override doing or saying what is right, what is good, or the help of others or oneself in a time of need. It is the opposite of courage. As a label, cowardice indicates a failure of character in the face of a challenge. Much, much better than just simple lack of bravery. Yeah. All right. They are not showing any courage. They are not showing any spine. Your spine is your backbone. And to have spine, to stand up straight, to stand up for oneself, what they believe in and their principles, is to have spine, to have courage. And, well, they seem to be lacking that. Moving on. Biden issues a blistering condemnation of Trump. To condemn something is to severely criticize it. We've had many different words on the program for showing disapproval or disagreement. To condemn something is a very strong formal way of saying no, not good. And blistering. One gets blisters maybe if you're wearing a new pair of shoes, or if you burn yourself. For example, here on my wrist, I burned myself cooking pizza the other day, and I have a blister. It's a small little bubble from when the water in your skin then evaporates, turns into a gas, and creates a bubble inside your skin. However, of course, then blisters come from heat, and if it's a blistering condemnation, it was really hot, really angry, and he really lit him up. Unrest had it yesterday. Unrest, just public is agitated and they're angry. That is setting up, creating, building, assembling, putting together a battle for America's soul between Trump and Biden. The soul is tarnished. There's some vocabulary. It's in the title on the YouTube video, to tarnish something. America's soul has been tarnished. It's not as shiny and bright and beautiful as it once was. To set up a tent, set up a company. It's to build, to put together, assemble all the different components so that way then it can function. What's going to function? The battle for America's soul. It's interesting because in the actual photo, nobody was lined up behind him. It was just him and his Bible, which he's probably never opened. They didn't line up behind him, much like you would in a photo op. However, since that's happened, and there has been public backlash against it, public outcry criticizing his actions, now it just means that they're supporting him, and they're lining up behind him figuratively, but not physically in the actual photo, which is kind of the writers and their plays on words. Moving on. Just a simple one here, his handling of the protest. The point being, and I've said it again and again and again, but repetition is the key to retention. Gotta get it into your heads. We deal with things, or we handle them. No handle with, no handle with. That's the whole point for that headline. Moving on. Outcry, unrest, backlash. The people are angry and they are crying out. Again, this is an example of a phrasal verb put together. Normally, much like set back, pull out, lock down, often that preposition goes onto the back of the verb to create the noun, but occasionally it goes up into the front. Outcry, people are literally crying out, not crying tears, but cry also means to shout or to yell. And so people are yelling. Mixed in with the other headlines here, one would think it is about the protest. However, that's a sad story from Nigeria. Struggles to explain inaction, the lack of action. He is not acting. On the Trump post to his outraged staff. His staff is outraged. They are angry. Yeah. Rage, anger, out, direction, expressed anger, extreme anger. We've had outrage many times, but here it's being used as an adjective. I like this one. Police chief rolls his eyes at Trump. Much like a few weeks ago we saw Fauci do a face palm when Trump was speaking. Here it's a police chief quite literally, this is not figurative, literally rolling his eyes. Oh God, here we go again. Showing that you don't take something credible, you're maybe even embarrassed to be associated with it, and so on. To roll your eyes at somebody is to show your disapproval for any number of reasons. All right. We've had step up to a challenge, which means to face and confront it, to take action in the correct way at the correct time. However, this just means to step up, like stairs. Yeah, you're making an incremental increase in something. To step up preparations, increase it bit by bit, much like going up the stairs. Oh yeah, ahead of the possible annexation. To annex something is to take it and make it your own. Yeah, and so they are going to take parts of Palestine and make it officially open to settlements and so on, I guess. Because the world needs more conflict. Here's a big surprise. Zoom's revenue soars, flies high, just like airplanes soar. Eagles and birds soar. Even at the start of this, we weren't late to the game. Could have made a boatload, suffering due to our own inaction. Yeah. Just another simple collocation. Took their grandparents' car out for a ride, just like right now. There's only certain times of the day that you can go out for a walk. Like you can go out for some bread or for some exercise. It's the reason you're doing it, and it's just to ride around. They're not going anywhere. They're just joyriding, cruising the streets, enjoying the wind in their hair. Tragically, kids died. Don't know why. Probably won't find out. Maldives reopens, but there is a catch. There's some little, you can't just walk in. But then again, it is the Maldives, and you can't walk in the Maldives because it's an island, a series of islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean. But yeah, you can't just stroll in. There's a catch. There's some other things that you will probably have to do for them. Yeah, just like we have a saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's always a catch. If somebody's offering something to you for free, there's probably a catch, because nothing is for free. They will want you to do something in return. Yeah, that's the catch. It's always in the fine print, that little print at the bottom of a contract. All those asterisks and little cross symbols and things. Yeah, it's not really an invasion. I would say maybe infestation. But yeah, they're everywhere apparently, and they're eating all of the plants, and that's going to cause problems with the food supply and so on. Yeah, they're just swarming all over the place. It was in East Africa, now it's in India. And we're going to have the locusts in parts of the northeastern US, the 17-year cicadas. Should be interesting. LeBron James applauds to applaud. To clap. That's basically it. Demonstrating or voicing their solidarity with the protesters. Surreal, the prefix sur meaning over, above, or in addition to. Think about it. Surcharges in a restaurant, if for parties more than 8 or something, they add an extra charge on top of things. Your surname is just an extra name. Surreal, more or above reality. And so this must have been a pretty amazing finale, his final act. He's retiring or dying, I don't know. To hatch an escape plan, to hatch a plan, much like an egg. Yeah, if you have an egg and the baby chick, he has to peck, and then the egg hatches. And to hatch a plan, it's just a nice, very visual way of saying, instead of create, make, draw up, and to hatch a plan, take some ingenuity, some creativity. I don't know why there's always so much auction news here, but yes, something else is going to be sold at auction. Remember, in an auction, at an auction, you bid on or bid for items, and if you are the highest bidder, then you will win, which means you have to buy the thing, or if you don't win, that means somebody else outbid you. Out, the prefix meaning more or better than. Unleash the military. Now here, I've got the leash for my dog. This is the rope that you use to hold and control your dog. If you're going to unleash your dog, especially if he's a puppy, he's gonna run wild and there's no control. To unleash the military, I don't think they're gonna go crazy and run wild and well, let's hope not. To stop controlling, restraining it, holding it back, letting it go free. So your unleashed potential, unleashed creativity, unleash yourself. Don't hold yourself back. When will the generals speak out? Speak out and speak up. Virtually synonymous, and it just means to voice your opinion out, especially in a public fashion, or speak up is just to assert yourself or increase your volume. Cudgel? Cudgel. It's a cudgel. It's basically a stick that you use to hit people, sort of like a police baton. Fair enough. Fair question. Do the research and get back to me there, Ned. All right. Trump's dystopia has reached an ominous cliff. Ominous, coming from the word omen. And an omen could be positive or negative. It's a sign that you see out there that tells you, informs you about what's going to happen, about the future. But if something is ominous, it's always about a bad future. It's a little bit scary. It's menacing. To wrap up a bunch of words we had before, yes. Ominous, menacing storm clouds looming on the horizon. And those are figurative clouds for economic recession or something like that. But yes, ominous. It's a sign of a negative or bad future. The other day it said they made history, and I asked you, is that historic or historical? And well, now CNN writers have answered the question for you. It was a historic mission. They made history. It's funny, I saw another headline, the astronauts flying in the Dragon capsule, the SpaceX thing, they said it has the new car smell, which is pretty funny to describe, use the new car smell for a spacecraft that you fly away from the Earth through outer space. But it has the same smell as a new car. All right, and we've had many times before Backlash, and that's just that outcry, that unrest, the people's strong criticism. It's like you're whipping something and then it whoosh comes back at you. And so yes, you do something and the people coming back at you with negativity, criticism, etc. And why? Because Uber is just throwing away bikes instead of donating them to charity. I spoke about it a little bit yesterday as well. And we've had Backlash on the program many times. Well, we had some technical difficulties this morning. It is true, I'm a little bit rattled. It set us back a little bit. But what can I do sometimes? But for anybody out there watching, thanks for tuning in. Ned, thanks for carrying us on the comments and questions today. Yeah, we're just going to sign off here. And so if I don't see you sooner, 8 a.m. tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye. Yeah, stop the stream.